helps if you put your uh, it helps you to arrange everything so that way you actually can be seen right away. So, all right. Well, good morning and welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you all for waking up so early and being up at this ungodly hour. No, it's not that early. It's only 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So, hello, Carrie, Margaret, my father, Sharon. Well, Carrie already said you once. Carrie's on two different things. That's good. I like the multiple views. That helps a lot. Tina, Tanya, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're staying warm because holy smokes. Hey, Jen, good morning. I just I saw someone pulled into you. Yeah. Sounds like someone needs it. Believe me, I'm on cup 3, so no complaints here. Definitely still doing some pumpkin spice. I'm sorry, Father dearest to you. You know what? And before I even get any further into everything, I need a slew. I need a slew of comments to fill right now for those that are watching. Please wish my father, Patrick, a very happy birthday because tomorrow, I'm just going to say it because you know what he can't tell me not to, but he's turning the big 7-5, the big 7-5 tomorrow. So happy birthday, happy early birthday to my father. So we'll be get all the families are getting together tomorrow, and we'll get to go to a cool restaurant that we've been to before, and we'll get to celebrate his 75th. So the old man is getting up there. So thanks everybody for saying that for him. Hey, Lindsay, good morning. Yeah, so that's really cool. So it times out. Hey, Jim, good morning. Times out really well. It's 3/4, not 75. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun tomorrow. So that's gonna be a good thing. I know, Sharon, happy birthday. I know. I think I know I put something somewhere. I put it on Facebook. So yeah, happy birthday to Sharon's today. Awesome. Happy birthday to Sharon. Look at that. It's a lot. In fact, I'm trying to remember. I think in my Facebook friends list, I probably had like 8 people listed today for birthdays. So it's a lot of birthdays today. So, so that's awesome. Okay, good, Sharon. I thought I did because I'm like, I try to do that in the morning. And sometimes, like if it's during the week, it's usually once I get to work that I finally get around to saying happy birthdays and things like that. And sometimes I miss it too, because they don't always pop up and the phones don't always give you the thing. So when I'm on a computer, it works out. So, yeah, but yep. So that's again, that'll be the fun stuff for tomorrow and things like that. So yeah, yeah. I mean, normally, I would go and I would automatically go ahead and sorry, I don't like that. See, you get into film and stuff like that, you don't like that much headroom, so I didn't like that, so I had to move it up so where I feel like I'm more, don't want to be touching and you want to, so so I got to make adjustments and things. That's just now like my things. But so normally I would, talk about the week, but unfortunately I want to backtrack. Let's see, my phone turned its ringer off yesterday. I was, well, stranger things have happened. So, hey, Veronica, hope you're doing well. Today's today's my dad's birthday. Well, happy birthday to him. That's amazing. Wow, look at that. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, normally I would talk about the week, and I think it'll be better to actually just go back because one of the things I did put in the notes, because I know if you guys open up when I put the reminders, even though I finally got around to putting the show, it was last night, in fact. So, I mean, it's been a busy week. I thought, it's funny. I think when I did the show 2 weeks ago, I kept saying, yeah, once I get through this week, it's going to be a lot easier. It hasn't. It hasn't. I had one evening off this week, and that was Monday. And that was it. Other than that, it has been slammed with family stuff, which is cool. I'm not complaining. I just thought it wasn't going to be as intense, and apparently it still is. So last week and this week, there's been band concerts, symphony orchestra concerts. In fact, even today, I'm sneaking this show in, which, got plenty of time. And then we got to leave at like noon or something like that. And we got to go to a local university And where my daughter is at, even right now, they have a big concert. There's an honors band deal going on. So they bring kids, high school kids in and around all the states, and stuff. I think the one I heard the furthest was like 4 hours away or something like that. So, but they're going to have a big concert because they've been showing up the last couple days. Thursday night was just like real brief stuff and hanging out and showing some stuff. They did a lot of practicing and playing songs, and then they're doing that this morning. And then the final show is at 1 o'clock for all the family members and things like that. So I gotta so once I get done with this, I gotta get cleaned up, and we'll get ready to leave. So but that'll be cool. So that's another fun thing. But yeah, I mean, my schedule has been ridiculous. And it's funny because you look at it, it's like sometimes you really want those breaks, and then you get to the point where it's like, well, it's not like it's bad things. It's not like you're running from one stressful thing to another. Hey, Dave, good morning, buddy. Hope you're doing well over there, man. Miss you. Dave, you know what? But you actually got to go back a few weeks, and I can totally get you caught up if you have the time. Yeah, I struggled over the summer. I couldn't. I mean, I won't go into it because a lot of people already heard the story. But yeah, I was struggling, and so I've been kind of on a pause for a long time, and so finally getting the show back up and running again, and not doing too much else, but I'm moving there. Hey, Rhonda, good morning. And so Amber, good morning. And so yeah, slowly building up. But yeah, Dave, we can catch you up more too, especially if you don't want to watch that show from a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago, in fact now. Um, but yeah, so I so like I said, the schedule has been crazy and hectic and things, but last weekend is what I want to start off with. So I mean, I'm really just going to dive right in. Hey, good morning, Carmen. I truly want to dive in deep. Yeah, no problem. I will do that, Dave. I will. I want to start with last weekend because that was, the where I want to go, and there's so much to talk about that because that's, there's a lot of people that are in the chat and watching. Some are going to comment, some might not be able to. Was our old Mill Parafest 10? We've done 10 years of it, and one of them obviously being an online version because of a certain thing that happened across the entire world. So we did still manage to, get one in, definitely different being, like this. But I think we all knew that year was a lot of this stuff, a lot of video, because that's all we could do. That's the closest we could get to each other. So we've been able to keep up with it, and Rhonda was a big supporter, sponsor. And so yeah, it was one of the things I was so happy, that we were going to make 10 years. And thanks, Amber. We were, I was so excited. And then, when I had a horrible, when things started going bad technically, even if Dave's still watching, when things started happening at the end of the winter season into spring, and then I just kept getting worse and worse. And then finally I was just completely miserable that, I was truly scared that I wouldn't be available to, I feared that I wasn't going to make the Parafest. I really, over the summer, and seeing, a lot of times over the summer, there isn't much going on. A lot of times we've already finalized most of the presenters and stuff. And then we usually don't get into the details of things until we start getting into the fall, because there's plenty of time, and it's not, it's not a Michigan Paragon event. So we don't, have, dozens and dozens and dozens of presenters and things and all the logistics that go on with that. Plus, with the venue and stuff. I mean, it's our home. And so, it's pretty smooth, and, but I was truly, oh yeah, Michelle, yeah, with all the birthdays and things. So it was wild because like I said, I was nervous I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't, going to be well enough because again, one of the key things was social anxiety, and it's weird. Hey, Jeff, good morning. Jeff was a vendor at Old Mill, which is what I'm just starting to talk about, Jeff. Yeah, it was, yeah, it was just one of those things. I was scared that I wouldn't make it, and I was so glad that, things started, changing. And in August, I made my, like, kind of first true public appearance, for some marching band stuff. And sitting in the stands, because we were just it was just parents, grandparents that got to watch the kids of what they've been practice on, for the marching season. And that was first time, so that was like, okay. And that gave me a glimmer of hope, that, I would be able to finally still participate. And even then, I told the team, there was just things I obviously wasn't going to be able to be fully a part of. And like Jim, who, if he's still watching, and Donna, they helped out a lot, as far as, like, Jim did a lot of the design work for the logos this year, which were fantastic. And I felt bad because I wasn't, it was still, I was coming back, and I was, like, in and out of things, and then just busy. So I wasn't able to, truly comment or give opinions and stuff, because I just wasn't fully there. I mean, we were still doing this, weeks prior to the event. But I just still wasn't at times, all with it. But, that's the thing, is I've been taking it slowly and just working through it. But yeah, so we got it going. And then obviously there was some changes, like with me, uh, go figure. And this is kind of ties into things like where, you know, you keep pushing the positivity, and you keep wanting to climb those stairs, get back on top of things. And, just, not worrying about things anymore, and just, dealing with it, handling it, just knowing that they are what they are. And we, you know, had an unfortunate thing where Tim Woolworth wasn't able to be a part of the event. And he has spoke at, excuse me, he has spoke at Midwest, or, at the Old Mill Parafest several times over the years, and always been a supporter of the Old Mill Parafest. And a lot of him. He's had some serious medical conditions. And so, he, on, the account of his doctors, they recommended that he, not, speak, and really try to be up in front. Hey, Nikki, good morning. Good afternoon too. And so, it was, it's sad in some ways, because, Tim's a good guy. And, I haven't seen him in a while. And so it was, a shocker, but at the same time, it's understandable, because, yeah, we don't want, something to happen to him. And so we'd rather, him keep working and try to get himself back on, on his feet in a way. But because it was so short notice, we, team all decided, this was like, we know Adam can do it. And this was a perfect opportunity for me, because again, I was getting back into things, and this was just another step of, truly getting in front, even though I do the MC work for the entire event. So I really was going to be in front of everybody, but it also gave me time to work on a presentation, create slides for it. And yeah, it was a good experience for me, and just allowed me to truly feel like I was getting back into it. And so, hey, Jen, I know I really wished her a happy birthday. We were doing that. You missed it in the beginning. We gave happy birthdays to a lot of people that are today. So, um, but we, so I did that, and it was fun too, because I wanted to, because I'm feeling more comfortable and things, I was starting to bring the humor back. And you guys kind of seen that, because I've done 2 shows since coming back. And I did that in the presentation. And one fun thing is, and I see, thanks, Amber. Yeah, thank you, Amber. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had so much fun. Well, it was fun creating it. And then, even then, and this is great that of course, my dad's watching and stuff like that, but now I can really tell the stories and stuff, and of what was going on behind the scenes with that. And so, you know, leading up to, and I'm gonna skip around a little bit to the Parafest, but I'll just go to this one now while it's on my mind fresh. Uh, you know, my dad was, he was having trouble buying his tickets the one day. And so he calls me up, and he's like, "I'm not getting it. It's giving me this error." And so next thing I know, I'm like, "Well, did you do this?" He's, "Yeah, I'm doing that." And it's like, "Okay." And I said, "Well, I mean," so maybe you can, we'll just, I think he was supposed to be at my brother's or something like that, either Saturday or Sunday, because he called me Saturday morning. And he's like, "Well, I'll just come over now." So he, he gets, dressed and drives over. we figured it out, but then we didn't figure it out. But, in a sense that I just ended up buying the tickets for him and then giving him, the barcode, and then putting it in his name, and then figured out that, he had a weird credit card issue thing. So he had to call them up and get that unlocked and stuff. Anyway, but while we were talking, he's just like, "Hey, I'd be willing to, you know, uh, I can do your introduction and stuff." And at first I was like, I because of me taking my steps slowly, I had to think about it for a little bit because I didn't know. I honestly was like in the middle. I'm like, should I? Should I not? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And I was tossed because I wanted thing personally was just because I was slowly getting back into things that I just wanted it to be, super simple because I didn't want anything chaotic. But at the same time, after I thought about it for a couple days, and then he was, I hit the team up and I said, "Hey, I got a question for everybody." I said, "What?" Because it was a bad idea. um, I said, "Hey, I got a request." I said, "My father wants to do my introduction for my presentation." I said, "Can we? I'm going to put a poll up. Can you guys vote this? Give me your opinions. You guys okay with it, or do you think it's a bad idea?" And so everybody, put yes. And so I said, okay. So then I remember texting my dad. I said, "You're on, you could do that." And then and of course, those that have saw my dad or met him, or you can tell in the chat at times, the humor is there. And so I told him, I said, "Yeah, about 30 seconds, don't try to go over, don't go any longer than 60 seconds because at the time, I don't know where we're at schedule wise because we could be way ahead or we could be way behind. And so every, second counts. And I try because of being the MC, I have to try to keep the event running on time. So so his comment back was just like, "What are you talking about? I thought I had the whole 5 minutes to do this." And I'm like, "You know what? Don't make me regret this." So So he's like, "Okay, it's fine," and so he goes, "Well, I'll go over it with you so that way you're okay with it." And then I at that point I was already fully into it, so it really didn't matter what he was gonna say, whether he was loading it with, some comedy or was he, and I knew he was gonna throw some true stuff in there, but so so then I, tell the team, I said, "Oh, he's all excited." And I joked with how they said he wanted to do 5 minutes and everybody starts laughing. And they said, "Well, that's your dad." So we're dying laughing in the messages. And so I said, "Well, you know what we should do, guys?" And and so now the juices are flowing. So we're like, well, if he's gonna sit there and try to do some type of prank or whatever, or just be completely goofy, and just horse around, I said, "Well, maybe we should do something back to him, you know?" "Oh, yeah, 30 minutes." Yeah, because well, I said 5 minutes. I said, "You're starting to get into presentation, Ville." But I said, I said, "Well, maybe we should prank the prankster." I said, "Maybe that's the best option for him." I said, "You know what I'll do, guys?" I said, "Because more than likely he I was assuming that he was gonna bring up about his, he was give a, real fast story about how everything started because you gotta remember, he's been to all of them. And that was another reason why, like, even for me, it was just like, you know what? He's been there for all 10 years of it. Plus, he was the one that saw the flyer laying on a table when he was performing in that hall. And I thought it would be great for him to, give him a little something to do that. And so what was funny was when I didn't say his name because I just said, "Hey, could the magical person?" Because I was sitting there, I didn't want to use any other terms. I was just like, "Hey, Jay, good morning, man." So I said, "Hey, I said, if you guys remember last year, I said I had somebody else do it, Nikki, who's watching. I had her do that, and I said, well, I want to do something, but this time I wanted somebody in person. And so I said, would that magical person please come up? And so he stands up, and then everybody, most people that know him already, were already starting to cheer. And so he, he gets up there and I give him the microphone, and I kind of, walk away and stuff like that because I'm like, I'm let him do his thing, but what I did was I walked in front of the podium on purpose after I handed the mic, circled back around to because I was using my phone for the presentation. So so my goal was to hit him with the fact that, okay, I'm bringing my dad up. So I wanted to do two things. One, make make an obscene comment on the screens, and then just to see if he would even notice it, because my hope was he wouldn't see it right away, but he would hear people laughing. And there wasn't a ton of laughter because I think nobody understood what it was right away. But when I said for him to walk up, and I circled around after I handed him the mic, I dropped the mic, give it to him. I circled around the point, and then I immediately hit the next slide. Well, my next slide, and I'm not going to use it because I try not to use language on the show, but I use the S word, but I used it in the acronym that he has, that the team he created, which was OHSHIT. So I had that up on the screen. So I thought it was hilarious that people would be like, oh, he's bringing up the person he knows. And he's, it's like, uh-oh, that was the thing I wanted to get across, besides him knowing what it meant, but everybody else would be like, oh, what's going to happen here? So I had that up on the screen. And then when he was just about done with the thing, I switched it to the logo he has, which actually then has it all spelled out, but you can't see it because it's a little cursive. But so I had that up there, and then I told the story of it. But I thought it was funny because I just wanted to give him a little bit, give him a little fun too at the same time. So, uh, but so yeah, that was a cool moment. And then, for those that weren't there, I stuck with the topic that I know, which was mediumship. Go figure, right? Uh, but it gave me a chance because I've obviously talked about mediumship on here, and we're limited on, the amount of details. Yes, I do an hour, but I'm also trying to talk about stuff that's gone on during the week or anything special coming up and things of that sort. But here I am, Mr. Serious, right? And so, there's never a time to really dive deep into it. And I try to keep it, to an hour, because of the fact that, yes, we're all kind of waking up, we're finishing up our breakfasts, and then obviously we have things we're going to do today, just like I do. I don't have much time to kill, but I, have to get going too. So, uh, but so the presentation went great, and I did have some funny, slides in there, which was the whole point. Hey, Cindy, good morning. Because like I said, I tried to go through the process of mediumship and provide a lot of the factual data and things of that sort, and then mix in my stuff. But I said the one was funny was which a lot of people are like, well, some people are skeptical as all get out, which is great, and that's what I wanted to address too, is just to provide some information, and they can take it however they want it, even if they still don't believe in it. That's fine too. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But hey, Ron, good morning. And so, yeah, so I thought my first funny slide was I put an old school, but it said, my question to everybody is, what is a medium? That's what, most people that don't know what is a medium. Well, but I put an image of there of like an old McDonald's supersize, stuff. So everybody started laughing and, at that one. So I'm like, it's cool because I thought it was funny. It's like, what's a medium, and it, like I said, it went great, and provided a lot of cool things, and got the details out, and I had a lot of fun. So it was a good time. And in we had so many amazing presenters and things, and a couple of them I want to highlight. I mean, we had Johnny Zapp is our main speaker, and Johnny, those that know him, he is a legend in the industry, and his aunt and uncle were the Warrens. And so, there's a lot. Hey, Angela. So there's a lot of, importance to that. So it was neat because the first 2 years of our old Mill Parafest was the what we had Johnny. Johnny was there for those first two. And so it was cool to kind of bring him back. Here it is, basically 10 years. And it was great. Hey, Linda, good morning. Yeah, let's see. Amber said, my husband is, hold on. I forget I have technology. My husband is skeptical, and you used him as an example and bumped into him and talking about the transfer. Oh, okay. So that was the guy I bumped into. I gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, man. But I didn't have a chance to talk to you and him, but yeah, that's awesome. I remember that moment too. And that's really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's, and like I said, I'm not here to change everybody's mind. I can only offer information, and I've always been that way. I've learned that, when I got into the paranormal field, is that you could talk to somebody blue in the face and say ghosts are real, but that's because you had the experience. If you're talking to somebody, which there's a lot of people, I mean, millions of people that are out there that don't. And I get that. And it doesn't matter, whether they just don't believe, whether it's a religious belief system, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with somebody skeptical. The only thing is it just be open enough to where you're willing to listen to it instead of just cutting somebody off on it. Like if somebody wants to tell me about something they're into, yeah, it might not be something my cup of tea or whatever like that, but I'm gonna at least have the the kindness of my heart to be able to sit there and give them a chance to talk about it. And there's nothing wrong in that. And you know, I think even then, throughout the event, I have obviously friends coming up, and then I had people that I've never met come up to me, and all the stories that I get to hear, and it doesn't bother me, and like, it's an exhausting day. Don't get me wrong, because when you finally close up shop and you're going home, it's like, whew, I need a break. And even then, my voice was pretty toast by that point. When we were at the party and things, and so it's a lot of talking, a lot of listening, but it doesn't bother me. I enjoy it, and I think that's what we should do, regardless if you understand what they're talking about or whatever. But that's the thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it was great. Again, yeah, Johnny. We had Jerry. Oh my gosh, I forgot the last name. She was an author, and she kicked us off, and that was kind of hilarious too. Uh, she we were having some issues getting her presentation up on the screens, and I'm like, oh geez, here it is. Me, the AV conference room tech guy, I'm like, well, I guess I get to change hats, and now I get to be AV guy. So going into action, I get her stuff up on the screen. So, which was hilarious. I'm like, I can't get away from that stuff. So, so she did great. I mean, it was fun listening to her and all the stories and things. And because there's a lot of local stuff, and that was very, very, very cool. And then we had, let's see, who else was there? We had Tim Miley, and he, had some profound news, and a lot of it's, public by now, but, there was a moment where he wasn't going to, continue on with the potographs. But he's found a new, some new gas, to fuel him to keep going. And so he's going to continue on. He's not sure exactly how everything's going to be, but the next one's not till March, I think. Or no, did he have one more? Oh, I think March. I think he's good until March, and that'll be in Michigan. I think that's number 5. I think they're doing for it. But I'll have to get more information. Hey, Shiloh, good morning. And so Tim was great. Who else did I do? Oh, we had the big group. We did one part that, we were trying to get everybody from the Swippy team and the Erie Shores team to come up and just tell stories of the old mill, because, there was a lot over 10 years. And then we had some audience people, mention a few things and stuff. And so that was cool. And then another one that was funny, and this is kind of where my segue is, into what happened in this week. So good friends of mine. Well, hello. Michelle, see, you know what I'm saying? You just can't even let me segue into it. You just there. Now you're going to be front and center. Now you're going to be front and center. You just get that now. See, now you got to feel like you're on. You're on. So there. Take that, Michelle. In fact, I'm just going to wait a second. I'm just going to let you. Wait, you know what? Hold on. I'm just going to leave that up. I'm going to take a sip. So I was saving it because this was the way I was going to, segue into everything. So that's why I was keeping you for last. So feel proud. So one of the other cool things that was right before I went on was that we had Taylor Bushman and Michelle Kubat, and they, it was a great suggestion for another idea or another concept that people aren't completely familiar with, which was even funnier because when I decided on what I was going to speak, even though we knew Taylor and Michelle were going to be doing this, once I realized that, and I forgot about some of the different, aspects of mediumship and what channeling mediumship is a thing, so I was like, oh, you're going to love this part in there. Cause I even showed Michelle at one point, just that slide. And she's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to watch this. So get back in line of patience, Michelle. That's right. You tell her, Veronica. But so introduced Michelle and Taylor, and they went up there, and they do their thing, and they talk about their backgrounds, and then obviously how they kind of got into channeling and things, and so uh, I got to see a little bit of that before, at least hear it, and then because they were at UFOCon a month or two ago, and so I got to hear the whole event because she recorded it, um, and then because she always records whenever they do channeling, and so once we got into it, and this was the other thing that Taylor had no idea because we wanted Taylor to have no indication or no knowledge of nothing, so just between Michelle and I, we knew what was up. But I said, if we want, I said, because they love music, they love, singing bowls, tuning forks, they love those frequencies, and that's a key thing. And so I said, well, the one time I did use my flutes for some, for a session. And so I thought, well, that's what we'll do. I said, I also didn't want to interfere too, because that's their presentation, but I did not want to get in, I didn't want to take over because it is their thing and it's their moment. And so, but they were, Michelle was like, yeah, let's do that. Cause then we also said too, we'd see how it was working out with the guests. Like if people are asking, hey, Heather, if we were asking questions and if we weren't, and so that's the thing. I said, well, if a lot of people are asking, it's no big deal. I don't, we're going to have sessions and it's fine. I mean, sure, I would jump in and at least say hi. That was the main thing, right, Veronica? And so there would be that, but it was perfect because another friend of mine who's now on the Erie Shores team, Rose, jumped up and she was talking about Native American stuff and the connections and things. And so it was like divine timing. I mean, it couldn't have timed out even more because like I was trying to, as soon as Rose was talking and asking questions, I was like, this can't get any better segue than anything. So I went and grabbed my flute because I had it out but hidden still. So I grabbed it and I was holding it so that way Michelle could see it and would be the perfect cue. And I don't know if she saw that. She can answer that, but like I was like, this is the perfect timing for that, And so sure enough, we caught eye and she gave me the go. So I did that, and obviously that was a big hit with the unknowns. And then of course when I only played for like about a minute, just a little bit, not to take too much time. And then, and then I said something, which is like what Veronica said about the voice. And so I just, said, hello, unknowns. And so they get all excited. And it's always fun when I get to, talk like that to the unknowns. It's always a good time. And I kept it short because I didn't ask anything, but I just said, and this is key. This is really key. I kept looking over to see when you were ready to go. Right, Michelle. I know. Well, you did. And plus, I was just, I don't know. It was weird because I just felt like I just wanted to wait, and people were asking some great stuff, and there was great stuff being, answered. And I could not get over the fact that my friend, who is true Native American, I mean, just jumped in there, and I was like, oh, this is meant to be right now. So totally meant to be. So, so you know, so I just said, hey, and they said, hi, it was good. They're talking to me. And then I said, hey, I'm not going to ask anything right now. Because I want everybody else to have their turn. I said, we'll be able to talk later. And the response, and this is key, remember this, folks. Yes, we will. So I said, well, we'll talk later. Yes, we will, is the response I got back. I said, okay, no big deal. I mean, it's true. I mean, I had every intention of it, So, we get through the rest of the event. Everything was fantastic. The party was fun. Again, it's always one of those things. If you get a chance and you're nearby or need something to do, before the holidays, because we're pretty much one of the last, Parafest, Paracons, of the year, because now we're now approaching the holidays. And so, if you're ever in the area, obviously we won't know if we get the thumbs up because every year we have to wait until about January, usually in January to February, some time frame. We have to wait for the first board meeting to review how the event went financially, because that's a key thing. Is did they make money? They made money. They're usually pretty happy about that. So we made money, which I pretty sure we did. I mean, I sometimes get little snippets of it, but I haven't heard anything. But I feel like we did pretty good enough to where we could warrant a 11th year. So, but once we get into January, February, and they have that first meeting, and we're finally, said, hey, they're going to let us do another one, or are we done? So we'll definitely do, keep people in mind. But even then, once we know it, then obviously then we're going to start racing around, figuring out what to do. You need to bring the ladies back for the next Parafest. Okay, hey, Dad, no, that's another key thing. So, that is a key thing, is to continue on with things, and especially if it works out, because there's so many people that we've had multiple times because of what they bring to the table, and that's always important. And this was something different that people weren't sure of, and there was comments about the channeling thing, because there was people that had no idea. Some just vaguely heard of it, but then they were just so enthralled in it because it's something different. And there, you could go through, I mean, there's so many paranormal topics that you can cover, and it's great, and everybody has their viewpoints on it. All the cryptid things, the UFO things, I mean, there's so many great things that are out there. So you can always do it, but this was something that we've never done before, so it was a perfect time to do it. Hey, Amy, good morning. And so was super, like I said, super excited. Was glad that 10 worked out, and considering all the obstacles I personally had to go through to just be able to be there, because even then, we set up on Friday, and obviously Saturday's the event, and then we tear down what's left on Sunday. And even then, Friday morning I was kind of getting ready, and I was like, ooh, I was kind of starting to feel some of the social anxiety again, which was weird because I've been doing so good. And it wasn't nerves, because I know what nerves feel like, and it wasn't. So, yeah, Michelle, it was. Yep. Hey, Christopher St. Booth, my man, my brother. Love you, buddy. And so, yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun and things like that. So, but then this week, this is what I get into, because I think this will be perfect, because this will wrap up the show and stuff. But, as we get closer to 10:30. So remember what I said about what the known said. Yes, we will. And so a couple days ago, it's like 3:30, and I just happened to be talking a little bit with Michelle, and, various things, how's the days going, this and that, little tidbit things, and some of the things that she gets to do, and some of the classes she's been taking. And so it's just fun to kind of, hear a little bit of what's been going on. And she, I don't even, we might have been talking about the unknowns. I'd have to actually look, at my notes. In fact, I probably should, because it might help, might help with some of the information with everybody, because then I can read it verbatim on stuff, what I'm about to share. But again, they said, yes, we will soon. Let's see, where did it go? Oh yeah, here we go. Here it is. So I was getting ready. It was like 3:30. I work till 4 o'clock for my day job. And, I have an hour and 10-minute drive. So, you got to go make sure you take care of some business, because, you don't want to be sitting there trying to figure out how to, get home, in an hour and 10 minutes. Not that there isn't places to stop, but I like to be empty, if you guys know what I mean. so, I doing my business. Okay. I won't get graphic, but just taking care of something. And you work? Yeah, I do work. I started hearing the unknowns, and I'm like, this is a really odd time to have a chat with me. I mean, honestly, I'm like, kind of yeah, I know you didn't. That's why you see, Michelle, you still get to hear little tidbits of it now. See, I keep it real. But yeah, it was a very odd timing. But as I talked about over the years, sometimes we need that moment of peace and quiet. Well, when you go into the bathroom, tend to, not always be off the wall thinking of everything, because that is in reality, it is your personal space in a way. And so, because you close that door, you're only focusing on typically one thing in there. So your chaotic mind isn't racing all over the place, especially if you're not holding your phone and sitting there and scrolling through whatever, but I'm just doing, little, I'm doing I'm just standing there doing my thing, and they're talking to me, and I'm like, oh boy. And so, like, closing my eyes, and then I'm not trying to fight them for it, because I'm like, hey, I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, and it's funny, because then I'm like kind of bouncing in and out of reality. Like, I'm hearing them, and then I kind of fade out a little bit, and so I'm having this conversation, and I'm like, I've done this before where it's not to where I lose complete utter consciousness of what my body's doing. So I've been the first time they did this, I was walking and they started talking to me and it was like, whoa. And so this time they, I'm doing that, so like finish up and I'm washing my hands. I'm still talking to them, washing my hands. And then I'm like walking out of the bathroom so I can still see things, get to my desk, and I'm like, okay, so it's still pretty good. And I sit down and I'm like asking them like, you know, bunch of different things. Because one thing didn't mention, and Michelle knew this too, was, I was, you know, you go to, the events and it's right now, it's like this fall has been a little bit of a flare up of various illnesses. And I mean various because it's not just one in particular, but there's been a lot of it. And so, I was it Monday? No, I don't think it was. No, I think it was. No, it might have been. I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. I started feeling weird, but not sick weird. Like I realized after a little while that it was upgrade symptoms that I have talked about before. And it was throwing me for a loop because I was nervous that it was something, but it ended up not. So I'm like going through upgrades. So then when I was talking to him in this short amount of time, I'm saying, hey, are you guys doing something right now? I mean, I know I've always said I'm open to it whenever, and they confirmed it. Yes, they were working, with me. And I'm like, okay. So that explains why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling because I'm not sick. No issues. It's just the symptoms of upgrades for me. And uh, so I sit down and Michelle, and I'll even read some of this verbatim, but even Michelle's like, okay, it's almost time for you to go home, have a safe trip home. And I said, well, thanks. But I said, I'm talking to them right now in the hopes that she understood what was going on, like who I met, because I wasn't sure. But see, at that point, I was very loosely going in and out. Now, people that know about automatic writing and stuff is where basically you lose control of your hand and then you are literally writing the messages via the spirit. And so I did this before once, and I don't know if Carmen's in the room, but she was the first one to experience that, where I was literally able to focus on typing out the messages. Glad I only have cats bugging me. Those right, Amber? uh, you sure it wasn't downgraded? No, no. But and then the next thing I know is like I'm at the point where I can clearly hear them. I can see the screen. So then, and I know I'm typing because I've been able to type, the correct way and stuff like that. I don't peck. So I'm able to just start banging away at the keys. And so they came right through and literally it was like, and like I said, I'll read majority of this and stuff, but it's not long. This is literally just minutes of it. But they said, hi, Michelle, we are explaining to Adam our upgrade for him. He said before that he would allow us to do them. We are happy he is strong. And then and again, there was a moment and then it's like, we are protecting him. He he has he has many things around him recently, and we want him safe. He is counting us down to leave for work, and asked us to watch him drive home and be safe because I was pretty tired. I was really tired. I thought, well, I'll ask them to kind of hook me up, because I mean, you just ask, and I'm trying to do a better job of asking, and what better than some divine, energetic beings that are out there. And we are always willing to watch over him or anyone that asks us. And then this is where it gets a little weird. And now these are some other things you guys got to remember. Okay. So we see a pink cloud around him. It's not real thick. We see it as a flower like image that you see on Earth. I know that doesn't make sense. We are trying to describe it better. It is a safe and not bad. We never deal with bad as you humans do. The pink cloud is like a mist that raises vibrations when needed. We have put it over him for his drive home. He will be more alert and not tired. We feel him very tired, but that's upgrade work he's going through. Michelle, Adam is asking to come back, so we will say goodbye for now and speak to you soon. And then it was interesting is when I snapped back fully out of it to where I was real more conscious of things, because all those messages, I didn't understand them at all. Like I'm writing them, but they're not like, you hear somebody say something, hey, how are you? Well, you're immediately thinking, I'm doing well. How are you? I'm not thinking that way. Hey, Denise, good to see you. Oh my gosh, it has been a while. Um, And so that's the one thing that's different about it is that it flows through. I'm able to type it, but I'm not understanding at the point. So it wasn't till I got done that I could scroll a little bit, as I was talking. And then Michelle, was just watching because she obviously there wasn't a whole lot she was doing. And she didn't, yeah, there she goes. I didn't want to write back. I figured I should just let you say whatever it is, but I was reading it in Taylor since she's still here. And so and it was funny because right when I snapped out of it, because we were almost 4 o'clock, and usually I'm already packed up and walking out of the building, at that point. And so, uh, and as soon as I snapped out and I realized, okay, I'm back to normal. I had my door to the office open, and some coworkers walked by, and I'm just like, well, that was crazy timing because they would have seen. I don't know what they would have seen, sitting there typing away at a keyboard. I don't know. Not like I looked any different, but yeah, but and then Michelle was just like, how do you feel and stuff like that. And I said, well, I actually did feel a lot better, like in the sense that I felt more, awake. Like, I mean, I was struggling. I was pretty tired. I'll admit that. And then, but it was weird because I started feeling the symptoms of the upgrade where like my temples were starting to feel weird and stuff. And so, and then the one main thing I felt like was like, I felt like I was floating out of my chair. It's still like, it was that, awake and alert and things that I just literally, I honest to God felt like I was just going to lift up out of my chair. So I thought that was wild, so let me see what she said. Veronica said, my dog has to come in with me to make sure two things. I do my business correctly. Right. Right. And then, I told Taylor the unknowns are going to make Adam leave work late. That's awesome. Yeah, I did technically leave work late. And then, I'll skip over some of this. And yeah, because I was just like, hey, I got to get out of here. And I think, you know, Michelle was telling me couple little stories. And I said, hey, I got to do this and stuff. Um, read this. And I said, no problem. So I'm driving home. Okay. The drive home. Now, remember, I said there's a couple things you guys got to remember, right? I'm driving home. Now, this is great synchronicity stuff. Okay. So you got to remember, I was just channeling them. I'm feeling pretty good. I know I don't want to do it while I'm driving per se. So I'm leaving it go. I literally, because most of you know, I work in Michigan, but I live in Ohio. So I just crossed the border, literally just crossed the border, and instantly in the car, I smell flowers. Now, what was the one thing in there? It's like flowers that you see on Earth was the message. I'm like, well, and it lasted a good 30 seconds. I just smelled flowers, and I'm kind of like trying to like drive, and do the no where I'm like telling Michelle, I'm like, I smell flowers right now in the car, and like I just got back into Ohio. Hey, there's Ray. Ray was another great speaker. Our Parafest, man, skull boy, skull. I Ray was awesome. Ray was another great. He had a lot of fun too. But I so I smell the flowers and stuff, and it was like crazy. And so, I send it, slowly get that sent over to Michelle. And then uh and then I get home. Now I get home, I walk in through the garage door, I bring my stuff in and I'm putting things down. And it wasn't till my daughter was having her boyfriend and her they had a concert to go to that night. And so they were getting ready to leave because I came home, a little later than normal, but she had to be there early so they could get warmed up and practice and whatnot in a little bit. And then uh we they left. But when we were just talking at the kitchen table, I happened to look down at the table and didn't see them at all, but realized there is a vase full of roses, which was something her boyfriend gave to her. So now I got flowers in front of me. So I smelled flowers, and first the unknowns talk about flowers. I smell flowers when I get back in to I smell the flowers when I get into Ohio. Now I'm seeing flowers there. The other kicker was that before I actually got home, so back up a step, I was at the gas station because I always top off my tank every day. I'm at the gas station and I'm looking out northeast to the skyline, and it's pink. Not the whole sky, but just the horizon part of it. So it's pink. And I tried to take a photo of it, but you can't, it doesn't come out. It's just so low. But then there's this pink hue, on the horizon. I'm like, damn. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, in one short, like 2, 3, 4 minute conversation of channeling to having the the flower thing, the pink thing, the smell. I mean, all that just completely came out and just lined up the whole time. And it was just like blew my mind. And like, I'm like, this is unbelievable. And so, like, even then I was trying to tell Michelle that. And even then she said she went for a walk, you know, uh, and she had some pink sky too that evening. So it was, you know, that was a really cool thing, and so I mean, what can you say? I mean, y- you I didn't plan for anything, and that's I think, part of it too is a lot of stuff, it's not always just doing this and that. So no, by the way, I should read um Michelle saying on December 3rd for channeling. It's a site name again. I forgot. No worries. We'll be able to, yeah, we'll be able to pop that in there. Yep, 3:30. And then Angela saying, I get that too. With all kinds of smells and tastes. Sometimes I get a taste out of the blue and then start smelling what I'm tasting. That's yeah. I mean, it's definitely interesting. You know, you always see plaid. You always see plaid. So, um, but yeah, I mean, and I think that's what's very cool. And those are the times that it's great when you remember that stuff or you pay attention because like I've always said, watch for messages. You don't have to be doing mediumship to receive messages from your loved ones, from your guides, anything that is truly there to be behind you and protect you and help you. It's always there. You just got to remember that the signs aren't always going to be a clear message, but like I said, just the smell instantly, and then the image of the skyline being pink, and then seeing flowers in my house that weren't there, when I left it, that morning. So I love that. And then you got your love note afterwards when Taylor and I talked to them after that. Right, that's true, you did. Yeah, me too, Carrie. Yep, we'll see. I mean, it's been finally slowly triggering off. So it was definitely heavy, the beginning and middle of the week, and then Thursday and Friday it started to get less, not as intense. So obviously I've got the brunt of it. Um, I have, and I can admit that I have failed to truly ask the specifics, but sometimes I don't always want to know the specific because that's a human trait of ours. A lot of times I like it to just present itself how it's supposed to. Doesn't mean that I won't, if I still haven't figured out exactly where it is, I will get to the point where I will ask, and that's okay. But I'm big into that because of the fact that, I doing mediumship and things, even though I'm still not be able to do as much, I don't I don't overthink that, and I don't try to put the logical mind into it because that's a key thing when doing this. And it's hard at first when you don't know how to disconnect from it. Because when you can truly disconnect from your logical mind to hearing what's going out on from the other side, regardless of who you're talking to, it's important that you shut down to where you can hear that stuff or feel or experience it. So what did I say? The only messages I get is to get off the channel and other people, right? um let's see. Michelle, I ask them all the time what they did to me, but the responses are always, yeah, right, hey Darlene, Mama D. Yep. Right. And that's I know it's such a key thing again with all the different, the divine beings, light energies, loved ones, angelic. I mean, they're I get more fascinated the longer I've been in this and to accept the that most of the information that you get isn't going to be the the aspect of what we know as like a human thing. So you read a book or you learn something from somebody and there it is. A lot of this, it just seems to where it's information, energy, vibrations that are going to decode with inside you deep into your soul, and then it will be. I guess that might be a kind of an easy way to put that, but I feel that way. I really do. I do feel that it's a lot of it has to just absorb in, and even then, it will reveal itself at some point. The first time I ever had upgrades, which was in we're talking 2021, because I had to, yeah, it that was, I mean, that was huge, crazy things. I mean, I had 2 days of UFO experiences, actually seeing UFOs with my own eyes, and then the intensity of the symptoms. I mean, and seeing, basically pleading, being, and I actually ended up asking him, what are you here for? And him telling me he's here for, to advance my healing. So, you know, that's just stuff that's like, okay, okay. I figured they don't want to freak. Well, and Michelle, and that's the thing. They think it's just a part of our, you can't be jealous, Veronica. Things like this are just going to happen. They take time. And, when we put pressure on ourselves for anything in life, anything, it doesn't have to be any of this type of stuff that we're talking about, but any of that, you put pressure on it just seems to take way longer. And it's when you finally just relax and just let things be the way they are. And then they start to pop up or appear, or you have the opportunity to experience it. So, right, exactly, Dad. Yeah. Darlene, this is a perfect time to tell me how I'm feeling. Or, geez, I forget I can do this. The topic is perfect timing how I'm feeling. Need a connection to the higher side, but others it's easier. But for myself, it's not right. Well, and Mama D, like my whole thing too was just it was a recap of last weekend, but how it segued from what we did over the weekend into what happened during the week, and then it just which is what I love. I love talking about how the week goes and then hitting the highlight or hitting a topic I think we need to address. And so, yeah, I mean, it's all there for a reason. And I have to tell you, and I'm not going to call anybody out that came up to me, at the Parafest, but so many people, are interested in mediumship, and that's great. It's a big decision. It's not so if you aren't fully doing it, and you're looking to unlock it or open the door, as I like to say, it's a big decision because you have to remember when you open the door, there's a lot of stuff on the other side that you're not aware of. So you have to be ready. It's not all going to be, fun, loving, happy things. When you do mediumship, even if it's not in a paranormal sense, you're still going to come across, some rough spirits. There's some people that were just rough in life. And so you're going to talk to them, and sometimes you got to deal with that. So let's see. Have a good day. Okay. Yep. Sharon, have a great birthday today. And yep, we will see you soon. I haven't told you what happened last night. We unexpectedly talked to the unknowns and others last night. Cool, cool. I like that. I know your door's locked, dude. So, um, yeah, and it's one of those things. And we can see, I don't obviously try to bring up a lot of relevant topics as far as like what's going on in the world, and so there's a lot of stuff that was it's not good. I mean, everybody talks about it at some point, but I try to realize that we have to look at other things. We have to find the positivity in things, and we need to work towards that stuff. So hey, Lynn, good to see you. And so it's important, and funny is, and even like with Denise, and it's something I've talked about with Michelle, is light language. And then that's another fun thing that I certainly want to get back into again, because I was starting to get into it last year, like real heavy. I was starting to finally speak it. And even Denise and Bonnie got to see it live on a show one time. It was the first time I'd done it on a show. And so that's another huge one for me is light language, which then it applies to a lot of this thing, because even the unknowns are, have an understanding of it too. And so, yeah, it's just, there's so many cool things, but these are the things to tap into. We can essentially ignore a lot of what's going on that's not so great out there. And so I'm all into this stuff where you just feel so much better about it, even though you might have questions. Things might not make sense. That's okay. That's all right. Because even then, people hearing light language for the first time, and Denise can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the looks, and they're like, what are they talking about? It's so great. I think it's the greatest thing. But it's weird is that when you cut out all the weirdness of, again, that's the point of being open to things. When you open up, especially your heart, which is the key to light language, when you open it up, oh my gosh, it's like it just becomes beautiful, and it becomes you feel it, and then you're at a point where you are there, then there's talking to you, and you hear the language, and you don't know it sure what's going on or what it means, but yet you feel good about things. And then it starts to absorb into the fact that when you hear it, your DNA, your soul transcribe it, and it just, what's being said. And then the next thing you know, as you keep hearing it, then you start getting forced into wanting to say it back, and repeat or whatever. So yeah, yeah, Mama D. Yeah, light language is very interesting. Want to learn more about that? Oh my gosh, yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, like I said, that's definitely on my list of things I want to push again. Um, Denise said I did it at a wedding ceremony when I was. Oh my gosh, that would be even. I would have loved to have seen that. That would be amazing. I could only imagine how that would have turned out. Whoo wee, that's amazing. Veronica, the door can be shut. It did unconsciously, but know this: it is way harder to open it back up. I'm still working on it. My theory is when you were a child and more accepting than as an adult, my reasoning is true. Veronica, yeah, intentions is huge. You've got to put the intentions out there, but you also got to make sure you're protected too. You got to have a foundation behind it. You just don't kick a door open and hope for the best. It's why I tell people you have to be on your game when you open up the mediumship or any type of holistic metaphysical abilities. You've got to have a foundation. It's another human trait that's horrible of us, is that we just expect all this stuff to be like instant and this and that. Does not happen all the time. Sure, there is some lucky people that just have that, where it goes, and out the door you go running, or through the door you go checking things out. It doesn't work that way. So you have to work at mediumship. I spent, 2 solid years working hard on it because I wanted it badly. And that was the thing. My intention was there. Still is. I'm still learning. Michelle, I have just felt the intensity of energy that's only a sensation so far. Blows my mind at times when I understand it. Carrie said it added much to incredible. Oh, I bet, Denise. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You could choose whatever door you want, Dad. Just know but hopefully the door doesn't have a number. Hopefully it has what you're looking for. But yeah, so yeah, again, just to wrap up because we're out of time. So Amber, I'll take a Big Mac large fry mediumship, and I go, there you go. That's it right there. I love that. I will say, because I was gonna make another point because I saw so many great comments. A lot of people did, ask about it or wanting to, go to the next step. I'm personally, one thing I haven't mentioned, I'll do it publicly, is, I've had it, intention for years to, possibly start creating classes and things. And I'm going to put that on the back burner for now. I mean, some people know about it, some people don't. But I had every intention of, creating some classes for various different things, to help out, like starting out. And then, if you've already been there and getting into it, and then just work with it. What I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to focus on just giving little exercises out. So you're not getting the entire, course, you're going to get things that are just going to slowly build up, because technically, if you are opening that door for the first time, and it could be for anything, but you're like for mediumship, you got to start in the beginning anyway. And so what better way is to start it and start practicing the exercises and work your way up, because this again is not an overnight thing. This isn't, or a weekend thing where you just get all this information and then you're going to be a master next week. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. So now I'm just going to do, because obviously scheduling and timing is very difficult. I thought I thought things were going to be way smoother right now, and they're not. I'm still busy. So I mean, yeah, looking for open times to do anything now it's still crazy, but that's okay. And I'm not, I'm not upset about it. It's just weird to have it so full, but that's fine. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of give little things and stuff like that for people that really want it and are really sure, because I'm going to hit them hard with questions and things. So, hey, Amy. And so, yeah, so I'm just going to give little things here and there, little tips and tricks and exercises. And it's easier for me because, yeah, we don't have to worry about trying to, figure out things and schedules. And I know, I'm not trying to do things for technically super free, but at the same time, it's easier to say, hey, do this for a little bit, try this, and it's easier to just do that instead of, we're all hurting for, some money and stuff. That's one of the big reasons I was down, and still it hurts, it hurts to not have it. And so I just, I get it. And I'd rather still provide stuff instead of having people that feel like they're ready to go to that next part, that or start opening that door. I'd feel bad for them to just have to wait, or you find somebody else that maybe you don't have a connection with, or you don't feel right with that gut feeling is kicking in. You're just like, I don't know if I really want to learn this. And, God knows how much money, that might be. Now, not everything is, through the roof expensive, but I get it right now, and holidays, I think people want to be able to enjoy time with family and eating, food and maybe some gifts and things if that works out. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's just gonna be easier for me to just provide little things and because and then I can just check on people being like, are you still doing this? Are you still doing this? And they'll be like, no. Well, you might want to think about it if you're serious. So that's a lot easier for me to just kind of poke at people and see if they're sticking to it or not. Because again, it is going to be you in the end. It's not me. I can provide, a lot of us can provide information and all that stuff. But if you don't take the time to practice it, there's not much I can tell you then, because it's on you at that point. So yeah, so I mean, if you're interested or want to, we can definitely hit me up privately. We can go from there. I even did just want to talk and chat. That's great. I'm into that too. I still love talking to people. Still, it's fun for me to be able to, take some time and not necessarily watch videos or play games on a phone. I'd rather, have a conversation with somebody. So I love that. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here because we're now 6 minutes past. So Denise, thank you so much. I see what you're saying. Angela, love you. Magic Tricks, my dad. Right. Veronica, thank you. Angela, yep. So yeah, for us here in the States, we have Thanksgiving this coming Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I will bring a show or, on Saturday, which I think it's 25th or whatever day it is. Something that yeah, it is the 25th. So I will create a show. I will have one on the 25th. So hopefully we'll all be recovering at that point, but yeah, because I got to do 2 days of Thanksgiving. So it's fun. But yeah, I'll be back on the 25th. So, again, for all us here in the States, enjoy your Thanksgiving. And yes, we will, we're going to keep it going. I think I'm pretty good through the remainder of the year on Saturdays working. Worst case is just kind of like I did 2 weeks ago. If it works out for everybody, I'll do it on a Sunday. It's fine. But I really want to continue this and keep it going. And only if it's really, I'm not feeling well or something's loaded like last weekend, then we'll just push it to the next week. But I'm definitely back in for the long haul on this stuff. So yeah. And then, and keep in mind, if you guys have any other ideas, like you maybe want to hear about something, whether I can go back on a topic or if there's something you ever heard of, I'm down for checking things out. So you can always message me privately and just say, hey, would you be willing to talk about this on the show? Absolutely. Hit me up. So I'm either I know it, or if I don't, I'll do some research and, throw some opinions out there and we'll go from there. So I'm down for that as well. So, yes. Okay. I'm out of here because I keep rambling and it's kind of fun to do that. So thank you all, Margaret. Yep. Everybody, again, have a great, safe, happy Thanksgiving. And I will see you soon. I'm going to try to get back now that I've gotten a little bit more rested and not getting through the upgrades. I'll try to get back to some posting this week. I'm off work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we get Thursday, Friday off. So I got some time. So hopefully I'll be able to find some cool things, or maybe I can hit a park up if it's not, even though I know some rain's going to be pretty nasty on Tuesday. Plus it's getting cooler, but not that that's an excuse. I still want to, I got to get out. So anyway, I'm going to leave so I can get ready for things today. And again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. For those that made it to Old Mill Parafest 10, thank you so much for being there or supporting it, vending it, sponsoring it. Yeah, so we're just going to keep going, and I will definitely be chatting with you guys again soon in post and back next Saturday. So with that said, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you again. You guys have been watching the the mid-morning medium chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium, and I will see you guys soon. And as always, all my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. Take care.